This is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 6 of
Pero Let Me Tell You. Do you like that song?
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, even if you liked it, you wouldn't say that you do.
No, that's not true because I have no problem admitting it's like I don't like Fulano, but I enjoy their X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but you know Queen Bee's not your thing. So Beehive, don't hate us. I like Beyonce. Yeah. I've seen Beyonce in concert. So
I mean, especially that
don't come at us.
That mediocre
Beehive
album, but
that what?
That album's pretty mediocre.
Okay. Anyway, moving right along. Welcome everybody to episode 262 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes.
Estamos en agosto, everybody. Yeah, that's it. It's Christmas.
That's wow. That was a very quick jump.
So we're in August already.
This is true. That's true.
Yeah, when your birthday comes, my birthday's here.
That's true. It's like un pestañazo.
Yeah, my birthday's in 2.5 months. Yeah, it's already here. And it's like, oh my God, here we go again.
I know. This weekend is my birthday.
Yes. So, bon anniversaire.
Merci.
Merci.
Vous êtes
44 ans. 44 ans.
I'm going to be 44. Yes.
40 ans.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. 44.
Okay, I know cat is 4.
Oui.
So I picked up on that.
40.
I know, but I was trying to get there on my own.
Oui. C'est la vérité. So, bonne année, bon anniversaire.
Thank you.
Vous êtes très beau pour un monsieur que 44 ans.
I look good for somebody 44?
Oui, c'est la vérité. C'est la vérité, mon ami.
See, I understand. As long as you go slow. The minute you go fast, you lost me. I'll be like, I don't know, macaron.
Je suis perdu.
Oh, c'est perdido. Wait, is that what that chicken brand is?
Purdue? No.
Are they just lost?
No. Anyway, so it's your birthday weekend.
Yes.
What are we doing for your birthday?
Well, on Saturday, we are having a pool party.
Yes.
Our friend, a very good friend of ours, is allowing me very graciously to use his house and his pool.
I know.
So we're doing that. You said that like if I'm going to do some type of like debauchery.
Porque estás escoria en la piscina.
Yes, mind you, it's like 25 people. Half of them are just us and our friends.
Right, but we love this friend of ours, but you know that they are very particular. Rightfully so. They have a very nice house.
Beautiful home.
Very particular about certain things. I mean, I would be too if I was having somebody. Okay, never mind. Yes, we're having a pool party for your house. Yes.
And then on Sunday, I'm going to go do brunch. Actually, shameless plug. Burger Beast is doing a brunch this Sunday, August 6th, down here. It's a brunch with a chef Billy G, I believe. You can go to burgerbeast.com and find out where it's at. I'm probably going to do that.
Oh, yeah. The Billy G is not my love. Actually, you know what? Speaking of Miami, I before we go any further on the show, I do want to mention briefly and sort of pay our respects to. We lost a great artist this week.
Yes,
David Lebotard. And
known as Lebo.
And if you know his artwork, he's one of these people that even if you think you're not familiar with his artwork, I can assure you that you've seen it because it's all over Miami. Yeah. One of my personal favorites is the huge mural when you get off of Miami from the Julia Tuttle. What road is that?
Don't ask me.
Where you get off the Julia Tuttle, that you could get off on Alton Road or Mount Sinai, that it takes you to Miami Beach. There's a huge mural there. Yes, by the Roosevelt Theater.
Yes,
on the Roosevelt Theater side, and it's gorgeous. So I mean, unexpectedly, I think
so it was unexpected to the public,
right?
Yes, but the family, because his brother is Dan Lebotard, who the sportscaster, announced on his show that they had known for about a year. He actually mentioned, he's like, we had already gone through the grieving process once they knew. So obviously it was an illness that the family was aware of. But but
regardless, it's a huge loss to the artistic community here in Miami, which art is so important and so big in our culture, and especially his art, which is not just any art. I mean, there's a lot of very talented artists in Miami, but his art was very of Miami, and it was very indistinguishable.
He very proudly called himself a cartoonist.
Right.
Like, and that, I think there's a beauty in that, because so many times people are like, no, I'm an artist. I'm a, to like elevate yourself. And in his mindset, it's like, no, dude, I'm a cartoonist. Like, that's cool.
Right.
It's still art, know? And I think that's just, it's going to be a great loss. And we're probably going to feel it more than we think we are, just in terms of the murals and the paintings and the artwork, that's going to not come anymore.
I know that this is maybe I don't even know how to pose a question, but when you have somebody like him who has all these murals, I mean, is there a way to have those murals maintained?
I would say yes.
Because the painting's already there, so
right.
I mean, obviously paint fades, it loses its shine. I mean,
I would say yes, in the same way that there are people who restore Renaissance paintings and things
right.
like that. So I would imagine there has to be something comparable.
Because I mean, especially with like more modern art, again, his murals that are around town are so unique, and they're so at this point they become staples in certain areas that it'd be a shame to lose that. And in a way, obviously, it's respecting and honoring the artist's legacy. I really hope that's something that can be done,
at least until they inevitably knock down whatever building and put up a CVS.
With a Walgreens in front of it.
Yes, and a bank, and a Chase Bank across the street.
Actually, you know what is really messed up now that we're talking about that? We talk about we talk about it here, but if you're from Miami, you know about this, of how unaffordable Miami is becoming and how they're building all these high rises. And again, I mean,
who's moving into them? I don't know.
Right. And what they are building is just so affordable, and it's not even for people that are middle class or unaffordable or upper middle class. It's for people who are like multimillionaires or billionaires at this point. You know what I think is a perfect example of just how things are going here? So for those of you who are familiar with the Miami landscape, in downtown Miami, off of Brickell Avenue, there's Brickell Key, which is that little island that is literally off Brickell Key.
I used to work there.
It has many, many buildings on it. They're all luxury high-rises and offices. One of the staples there is the Mandarin Oriental, which, as we know, the Mandarin Oriental is a very expensive hotel. In specific, the Mandarin Oriental in Brickell Key, I don't remember the exact year, but it was opened in the late 90s, like 98, 99.
So it's 20 some odd
years old.
Still
a fairly young building. You know they're going to knock it down?
I think you told me this.
They're going to knock it down, and next to it, there is the only green space that's left in Brickell Key, which I have a relative that lives in Brickell Key, so I'm very familiar with the area. And, he had always told me that green area, which is a little park, it's very well cherished because it's literally the only green area in Brickell Key.
I went for a job
and it's adjacent to the Mandarin Oriental. Well, they're going to tear down the Mandarin Oriental, which is this, again,
it's
pretty
not an
new
old hotel,
building that's super luxurious and
it's
super
still beautiful. It doesn't look run down.
No, it's a Mandarin Oriental.
Right. It's not, but I'm saying, no que tú digas, bueno, it needs repair.
Right, no. If it has a Mandarin Oriental marquee on it, gorgeous. It's never going to be run down. It's not a Ramada, and they're going to knock down the Mandarin Oriental, and they're going to build 3 luxury high towers in that whole area, including the green space. And they're going to start at like $3 million.
Because why not?
And you know what? That's an example of just greed and just how over the top this is becoming. Because now you're sort of cannibalizing already on like, these buildings that aren't even that old, that are already for the rich, but now we're going to make it for the richer.
Right. Who are not going to come and buy, by the way.
Huh?
Who are not going to buy those apartments, by the way.
Well, somebody's buying them.
No, but that's my question is, who's inhabiting
I mean,
buildings?
look, I'm not 100% sure if this is the case, but for example, do you know about Billionaires Row in Manhattan?
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay, so Billionaires Row in Manhattan is near Central Park, and it's these series of skyscrapers. There's about 4 or 5 of them that they're very, very thin skyscrapers, and they're now among the tallest skyscrapers in New York City, in Manhattan, and they call it Billionaires Row because these apartments, it's not that they cost $2 or $3 million. They're in the hundreds of millions of dollars what these apartments cost, right? And I think that like 80% of them are vacant. because people from around the world that are ultra rich buy it as an investment because they, sometimes it's good not to have your money liquid, to have your money in real estate. Yeah. So they buy it as an investment. So these buildings are being built and they're buying air rights of adjacent buildings.
Oh, air rights.
Yeah. And they're being built and nobody's living in them. Like nobody. They are vacant. So, I mean, I know that that's a more extreme example, but
vamos por el mismo camino.
But it seems that that's like where we're going because what they're building now, it's just crazy. They're building downtown in downtown Miami. They're building the Waldorf Astoria residences that are going to cost I don't know how many tens of millions of dollars too. It's an amazing building. It's going to be cubes. Cubes. Imagine cubes stacked on top of each other. The building is beautiful.
Okay.
They're now proposing where the XVY hotel, the XYV hotel that's on Biscayne Boulevard, a little bit down. They're gonna knock that down too and build a 100-story super tower again with luxury high rises. They in Biscayne Boulevard as well, where the Ross used to be.
Yes,
that building was built in the 50s. That is currently being demolished to build another super tower. So, it's one of these things that I've always said I'm not against progress. I'm not one of these people that's like, no, they can't build anything, preserve everything. There has to be a balance, right? There has to be a balance between progress and a balance between sustainability, preserving certain things, making sure that there's equality and equitable decisions that are made in construction and infrastructure. And right now we're kind of in a free-for-all,
Absolutely.
Build, and it doesn't matter if nobody can afford it. It doesn't matter if nobody's going to be living in it. This is what we're doing, Contractors, I forget who says this or who originally said this that in the 1980s, Miami used to be run by the marimbero, by drug dealers.
Yep.
And now in the 2000s, Miami's run by developers. Developers are the ones...
This sounds like a Billy Corbin thing.
Developers are the ones who...
They're the mafia.
Yeah, who... they're the ones who rule here. And, there's so many buildings that are being built along the coastline that they breach the aquifer. They've breached the retaining walls, and nothing happens. We just continue.
Well, the coral reefs are dying right now, but but I need that multi-million-dollar building.
Right. So I don't ever want to be that person, and I'm someone, I've said it here. I lived in one of those luxury high rises for many years because for me that was something that was
you wanted to do,
and I could afford it, and whatever. But again,
the price that you were paying is much different than the price.
Right, but even if it wasn't about price, what I've always said is it's a matter of balance. Right. And right now, there's people that they're losing their homes because they have an apartment or they have a condo in an area that's desirable that they have paid off. That's their home. And here comes a developer saying, well, we're going to buy you out.
Which is why that guy in Coral Gables is our personal hero.
Yeah. Right, but in a building, it works out a little bit differently.
No, but I'm saying.
Because in a building, if it's the majority,
what are you going to
get bought out.
Yeah, you can't do anything about it.
So it's a little bit different than the guy in Coral Gables who just said, hell no, I won't go.
His house is in the middle of the new construction. It's wonderful. But it's funny you bring that up because I actually saw an article that said that between 2019 and 2022, Miami-Dade saw its first population loss in decades.
How? Where?
So it's saying that to tie back to what you were saying, home prices in Miami have soared 53% since June of 2020. The median asking rent increased 27% since 2019, and Miami has the highest share of cost-burdened renters of any major metro area in the country, and that's at 61%. So I'm looking for the number here of how much it decreased, but it's funny they were talking about all the factors, and they were like, hours lost to traffic delays in Miami increased by 59% between 2021 and 2022.
Yeah.
So it's people are leaving in droves because they can't afford it. They can't afford it, and it talks about how some people are going to Tampa. They're not leaving Florida. They're going to Tampa. They're going to Orlando. They're going, a little further up north.
What I just don't understand. It's not that I don't understand. It will be interesting to see, unfortunately, where this goes. Is that the main industry in South Florida and in Miami is still tourism.
Yep. And if they can't afford to.
And where, tourism, most people that work in tourism it's not even that they're low paying jobs. These are not these are not 6-figure salaries.
But service industry jobs are not the higher end
right,
of
they
payment.
are. So where are these people going to live?
Right.
Because little by little, people are getting priced out. And that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a really big problem.
And you're not going to be paying a waiter 6-figure salary to be able to afford to live in near the restaurant.
I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know where it's going to end. I think, if you were able to purchase a home, you're very lucky. And unfortunately, if you won't, you have your work cut out for you. But even for people that own homes now with the insurance rates,
it's not going to get any cuter.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know that in my house, my
insurance wise. Citizens?
Citizens is state. It's state created. Insurance. Citizens was supposed to be an insurance of last resort when nobody else would insure you. Citizens. The number of policyholders was supposed to be a couple 100,000. Mm-hmm. They're now over 3 million.
Right.
So that's a really big problem. But bueno, let's lighten things up. We don't want to start. We don't want to get all. I mean, we started with somebody's passing. Now we're talking about Miami being unaffordable and all that.
It's my birthday weekend. We can't be too dour.
Let me start with one of my little stories.
Oh, I love your stories.
My stories. So the other day I was in 7-Eleven. Okay, so one of the reasons why I go to 7-Eleven in the mornings because the 7-Eleven by my house is because when I've been trying to eat healthy in the last couple of months or whatever amount of time. But every now and then,
You've been doing a good job about it,
Thank you. Every now and then, during the week, I do like to be like, today I'm going to eat something naughty.
A little cheat.
And the 7-Eleven by my house makes the greatest pan de bono north of Colombia.
I love the qualifier.
No, but I tell the people that work, I'm like, listen, the pan de bono from 7-Eleven is insanely good. Like, this is better than any panaderia colombiana. Like, I don't know how you do it 7-Eleven.
I know this from firsthand experience.
Yes.
When we do pim pam pollo.
Yes. We always have to stop there.
Yes.
Have a pan de bono.
There are times where it's not even along the way and you go like, no, we're going to go put gas there.
Yes. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but I've told you, I think that pan de bono is Colombia's gift to humanity.
It's true.
Pan de bono makes you believe in divine intervention, because it's like, how can one little piece of bread be so delicious? And it has cheese, but you can't see the cheese. But you could feel it and you could taste it, but you can't see.
It's like angels.
Yes. Because like in a tequeño, which is Venezuela's gift to the world.
To humanity, yes.
I love me a tequeño, but in a tequeño, you could see the cheese.
Yes. Once you pull it apart,
right.
Yes.
But in a pan de bono, you can't see the cheese, which makes it even more elusive, mysterious, and delicious at the same time. It's part of the
essence.
It is. Pan de bono is this is not brought to you by Pan de bono.
Well, what, like Big Bang? Like what? Brought to you by Colombia?
Anyway, so wait, back to my 7-Eleven story. So I was at 7-Eleven, and I've had stories from the 7-Eleven
yes, you have.
before. So I think there's every time that I see that there's a high jackpot in the lottery, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God,
here
we go. So I was at 7-Eleven, and there was entraron dos viejos, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Let me see if I can beat them to the
No, you get register. Behind them so you get the story.
So they got in front of me. So in front of me was this lady and then the dos viejos.
Okay.
One of them had, I'm not kidding, probably 50 or 60 lottery tickets that needed to be scanned.
Like he was checking to see if he had winners.
Yes. And then the other one in the other cash register was buying rapaditos, but he was buying and rapando at the same time.
I like that between them there was a balance.
Yes. So one of them was saying, dame 5 rapadito, and he was rapando no, dame 5 del otro.
Right, because you see the prize and you're like, aquí tengo uno gratis.
Right. So that transaction was going on. And then in the other one, he was checking it. So it was a good 7-8 minutes.
Wow.
Right. Yes.
That's a quick scratcher.
Yeah. And you know what? Again, that's the type of thing that I don't even get mad at anymore, because I'm like, this is so Miami that I can't even explain it. And I don't know what happens. Is it is it an age thing that once you reach a certain age, you just have to play the lottery? Because I don't get it. Todo esto viejo con la loteria.
My grandfather used to love playing the lottery.
I don't know what it is. Like, with the lottery, and again, it's always selling un raspadito takes so much freaking time in a convenience store.
It does.
They should have like a raspadito counter.
Sometimes they will designate one register. Like if it's a high, again, because when I worked at Winn-Dixie, I used to work the counter. If there's like a high jackpot, they will just basically be like, okay, you're just here today for lottery.
Right.
Don't look at anybody. Don't ask any questions. Just do the lottery stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll do that, but not in this case.
Not apparently. In this 7-Eleven.
No. But you had your pan de bono, so you were happy.
Yeah, but my pan de bono is getting cold.
Oh, that's right, because you have to try.
Do you know what I do sometimes when I see it's going to take too long? I leave the pan de bono in the little thing, and I just, when I get to the register, I'm like, yeah, I'll have 2 of them. And then, my Red Bull, I keep it in like by the line, they have like where they have the fresh food, so I'll put it in there.
Okay.
Because it's like, this is going to be a while. When I saw that man come with a bag, he had a bag of lottery tickets.
A bag?
Well, he had like 60, 70 of them. Do you think he had them all in his hand? He had a bag of lottery tickets. I'm like, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long wait for the line. So listeners, do you have any...
what's even more annoying in that sense?
To our listeners in Texas and the South, does this happen at Buc-ee's?
Probably. While they're getting the cheese.
Oh my God, I need to go to Buc-ee's.
What is it? It's cheese curds? No.
It's everything.
No, but what's the thing?
Their barbecue.
That.
Their brisket.
Yeah.
Okay, the thing about Buc-ee's? I grew up going to Buc-ee's and I didn't even realize it.
Oh, that's right, because you had family in Texas.
I had family in Texas, so we would always go to, we went to Texas. So we would stop at Buc-ee's.
That was your madrina, right?
My dad's aunts and uncles. But we wouldn't, we would stop at Buc-ee's, but like I didn't know it was the Buc-ee's.
Well, also as we discussed last week, you were still you were all in training.
We were all in training.
You were still in training.
No,
and Buc-ee's wasn't like a thing,
right? This was all the way through the 90s because I was in high school, when by the time we stopped going there. But I didn't know it was the Buc-ee's, right? But now I haven't been to Buc-ee's since the 90s. It's like I need to go to Buc-ee's. Did you see the biggest one that opened up?
Nowhere.
In Texas.
Oh.
It's like the size of a football field.
They have some in Northern Florida.
Buc-ee's?
Yeah.
In Northern Florida, where?
Northern Florida.
Like the Panhandle?
Yeah, no. Like when I'm driving out to go to North Carolina.
They have it that east? Because I would
like Gainesville.
Oh. Well, I haven't been to a Buc-ee's in years, and I need to go to Buc-ee's. I want to get the T-shirt, and I want to have the brisket. I want to have it all. I want to have it. I want to go Christmas shopping at Buc-ee's.
Actually, I was gonna say now I know what to get you for Christmas. I'm just gonna get you a Buc-ee's T-shirt.
You get a Buc-ee's memorabilia, and you get Buc-ee's, and you get Buc-ee's. So, to our listeners who are from Texas, especially, and I know we have a couple, or from the South, show us some Buc-ee's love.
Yes. Yeah. Send us. We'll give you an address.
Yeah.
I got no shame.
Or if you're filling up at Buc-ee's, in the near future,
tag us.
Yes. Please go to Buc-ee's and tag us.
Yes. I think that's a good compromise.
So here we are, but let me tell you, a Miami podcast talking about Buc-ee's in Texas.
Well, but why not? We talk about Buc-ee's in Texas. We talk about Portos in LA. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
On that note, when is it that you and I are officially just going to open up a fortune telling?
I don't know,
service,
but we should, because the thing about the podcast is that this is recorded, so
there's evidence.
There's evidence, so it's not like, oh well, we said this was going to happen, and then we have no evidence. Like, we have a lot of shows where we said, can you imagine if this, and this, and then that, and that happens.
And on that note, this week.
In this week's Pero Let Me Tell You's fortune telling corner,
useless fortune telling because we can't even do it for the lottery.
Yeah,
Ms. Cardi B had a drink thrown at her, and just as we predicted, she wasn't having it.
I told you. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
My words were like, pa que nadie hace eso a Cardi B, and Cardi B did not disappoint
at all. She didn't miss a beat.
She didn't.
She did not.
She did not disappoint. That's we love her. I mean, we love Cardi B. She's a fellow Islander.
This is true.
I mean,
from the Caribbean and New York,
from the Caribbean and beyond,
from 2 islands,
right? But it's like, you don't mess with Cardi B.
No, and okay. So for those of you who may not know, and how could you not? Cardi B was having a concert. Somebody threw a drink at her, and I swear the drop had not even hit her. It hadn't even finished hitting her, and she just chucked that microphone directly at the person. Like, great aim.
That's our girl.
And all I could think of was, in what world did this person think it was going to end any differently?
This isn't BB Rexa.
Right. Right, exactly. This is not, BB Rexa or Miranda Lambert calling you out like for taking a selfie, right?
No, this is Cardi B.
She was a stripper. She's had to deal with worse than you and your drink.
She's from the Bronx.
She knows how to handle herself.
Yeah.
Like, what was the outcome you thought was going to happen?
Yeah.
Because honestly, the microphone was the best outcome.
Yeah.
I would not have been surprised if she would have launched herself into the crowd and started punching and slapping.
Se quita her red bottoms y se lo tira.
But I'm saying, I wouldn't have been surprised if she had just gone in there and started tirando piñazo.
These are red bottoms. These are blood shoes. I think she was singing Bodak Yellow when they threw the water at her, which is amazing. I mean, we said it here when we were talking about BB Rexa or all the people who have had stuff thrown on them recently.
Just got somebody
we said it. We're like, "Pa que esto no se hacen a Cardi B." Bueno, they did it to Cardi B, but Cardi B.
Yeah. So I feel we need to apologize to Cardi.
Yeah.
Because we did say...
Yeah, we put it in motion.
We put it into the world, so apologies, Cardi. We didn't mean for it to actually happen.
You know who I could see also kicking ass is Pink. Pink will be like, let me get off of my harness while I fly, and I'm gonna fucking kick your ass. Like,
the thing is that with Pink it would take a little while.
Oh no, but she's getting.
She'd have to get lowered.
Right. Oh no, but she's coming for you.
Yeah.
You just have more time to get away.
Right.
But she's coming for you.
And we know who the great grandmother of all of that would be.
Who?
Bjork.
Oh well, yeah, the Bjork. Infamously, 20-some years ago when she was... You know what I think is so great about the Bjork story? For those of you who don't remember, this happened, I think, in the late 90s.
Probably.
Bjork was coming... She was in an airport. Yeah. I think she was pulling a carrot...
She was a luggage cart.
A luggage cart. And a reporter just very casually comes up to her and asks her a question. She didn't even get that much in her face, right? And Bjork beats the shit out of her.
So... If you thought it was a bad idea to throw something at Cardi, don't do it to me.
No, it was funny when we were talking about like how celebrities would handle that. I said Madonna would be like, why are you throwing a microphone at me? Like, this is, we want peace and love. And then I could see Madonna, like, if the person gives her a hard time, be like, bitch, I'm from Detroit. Like, and then get down.
Yeah.
If somebody throws something at Beyonce, that person will disappear off the face of the earth and never be heard of again.
Right. And Beyonce doesn't even have to lift a finger to do it.
No. They will just disappear.
It'll just happen.
They will just disappear.
Happen. Right.
We will never hear from them
at
again.
All. Ever.
You have a higher chance of being found in the witness protection program than if you throw something at Beyonce.
That's great.
Am I saying
you're
a
not
lie?
wrong? You're not wrong. No.
and then no. With Beyonce, not only will the person disappear, but anybody who recorded it, all footage will be destroyed forever.
No trace evidence.
There's no evidence that
There's
happened.
no trace evidence that happened because you know why, guys? No body, no crime.
Right. So they'll be like, give us your phones, and people will be like, okay.
Yeah,
there'll be no fight.
All those same people who were bitching and moaning when Madonna made them lock it up would hand it over willingly to Beyonce.
Yeah. Who else do you think will be fun?
I don't know.
We'll have a great story.
Who'd be fun? Well, I think it would be interesting, like Ozzy Osbourne, because he wouldn't even know what's happening anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, who I think back in the day would have probably punched the shit out of them was Colin Farrell.
Oh yeah,
back in the early 2000s.
Oh, Limp Bizkit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Fred Durst told you to set Woodstock on fire.
Yeah. And if my day ain't going right, I'm going to break your fucking face tonight. Give me something to break.
Where are the days of just throwing your panties on stage?
No. It's terrible.
Like, why do we have to escalate?
See, that cosa siguen. This is going to end up with people not being able to take their phones to the concert.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to end up. And then, you're going to ruin it for everybody, stupid
But the
people.
thing is that it's not just phones that they're throwing. Because this was a drink.
Yeah. You can't drink. You can't take your phone.
I mean, it's like an Adam Ant song. Don't drink, don't smoke. What do?
You can't take a hat.
You can't take
Te
a
quitan
hat.
los zapatos because you could throw a shoe. Oh, yeah. They threw a shoe at George Bush. So anything is possible, right?
Every concert is Lilith Fair now?
Oh. No, that wouldn't happen in Lilith Fair.
No. I mean, you have to take off your shoes. You have to put away. It's all like crunchy granola.
No, that wouldn't happen. Lesbians are peaceful people.
You say that.
No, they're
You
not.
say that, but I will tell you, in P-Town...
Yeah, but no.
Let me finish. In P-Town, the residents will tell you that during Lesbian Week, there are more
know.
fights
There
than
are.
during like
yeah, but you're talking
Bear
about
Week
like,
and all that.
You're talking about like, Lilith Fair.
That's true. That's true. It's a bunch of librarians.
Right. How many fights did you hear? What controversy came out of Lilith Fair?
Well, maybe one lady sold the same charm bracelets in her Etsy shop that somebody else sold in theirs.
Right. And a lot of turquoise.
A lot of turquoise.
Yeah.
Lots of flower
and a
crowns.
lot of Toyota Priuses in the parking lot.
So many Chargers in the parking lot.
So yeah, I don't know. So funny story that I don't know. I thought this was worth mentioning because it was just so ridiculous and so funny. Did you hear about the bear in China?
The bear in China?
Yeah.
No.
So in China, there's a zoo in China with like a whole exhibit and a whole preserve that's supposed to be for like a black bear. And there's this bear that it clearly looks like it's a person in a bear costume. And the pictures, like people started recording this. And the China says, no, that's really a bear. The bear was standing on 2 feet.
They do that, but not all the time.
Look it up. Look it up on your phone.
Hold on. What is it? Black bear in China?
Put bear in Chinese zoo.
Bear in Chinese zoo.
And what I think is crazy is that like I think the Chinese government responded about this.
Well, of course they did because they're never wrong about anything.
And I'm like, okay,
bear in China fake.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you say it's a real bear.
Este es el oso más raquítico que yo he visto en mi vida. If it's a real bear,
is going to be Winnie the Pooh, and China's gonna say like, no, it's a real bear.
No, hold on, listeners. I'm literally watching this now. This looks okay. I think it is a real bear.
I mean,
but I can see why people think it's
no.
not.
I think it looks like a person. Okay, listeners, go to Google and Google bear in Chinese, bear China Zoo or whatever.
Fake bear in China Zoo.
And you decide.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I can see how it's considered fake, but then when it sits down, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe it's a real bear. I don't know. No, that part looks fake. Never mind.
A bear wouldn't stand like that.
That is true too.
I mean,
that is also true. No. I've never had so many conflicting opinions
look it up,
in
listeners.
1 second.
Look it up when you get home or to work, not driving.
Yeah, don't do it driving.
Pero yeah, I think it's crazy.
I think it's great. I think it's great. But, this is also, the country that during COVID was like, we figured it out. We're all cured.
There's
all
nothing
done.
wrong.
There's like 1 billion people there, but it's like, no, everybody's fine.
There's nothing wrong.
Everybody's fine. We have it under control.
They're similar to Beyonce's handle.
Right, exactly.
Nothing
happened here. Maybe Beyonce has the Chinese government as her.
Actually, you know what?
The
thing about Beyonce is not an exaggeration because I remember when Beyonce was on was it the I Am tour? Yes, it was the I Am tour. So this would have been 2009. So this was like when YouTube was becoming YouTube and viral moments were becoming viral moments. There was a footage of her that leaked in concert that she was going down a flight of stairs and she fell.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was Matthew Knoll. I don't know. But her people made YouTube take it down. And they did. So it's like, wow.
That's one more reason why I just don't care for this individual. But that's okay.
Well, but you know what? That's not necessarily her. That could also be her management.
No, but that to me is like this. It's like must preserve the facade of perfection at all costs. Like get over yourself.
Right.
You already don't give interviews.
Stop hating on Beyonce, as we said at the beginning of the show. You're not gonna win that fight.
But I'm not trying to have a fight to win.
Yeah,
I'm just stating my opinion.
You're not going to win that argument.
I'm just stating my opinion that she's boring.
Oh. I would just like to tell that the opinions expressed by Ish are not the opinions of Pero Let Me Tell You or DJ. He proceeds at his own caution. That is an assumption of the risk.
I I think she's talented, but I think personally, like, she doesn't. I've never seen an interview of hers where I found her interesting.
Okay, we're gonna have to move on from this because
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, anyway, what do you have for me?
So I wanted to bring something up that it's one of those things where, like, I was at the gym and I was watching. They have the
Come on,
the
you don't like
TVs.
"Upgrade You" by Beyonce? Partner, let me upgrade you on a month.
Notice that I've never said I don't like her music.
Upgrade you.
I never said I don't like her music. I just think she's dull.
Upgrade you.
But
I could do for you what Martin did for the people.
listen, she's litigious. So they made Kelly Rowland stop singing Destiny's Child songs. So she will come back. She
did?
Yes. At one point, Kelly Rowland was doing like a solo tour, and she would sing, the Destiny's Child songs. And they sent her a cease and desist.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are you sure?
Kelly Rowland said it.
That's strange because I believe that the writing credits of Destiny's
is all
Child
of them.
is all of them.
Yeah. I'm just telling you what she said.
There must be some technicality there.
I'm sure. What I mean to say by that is that they will ask us for royalty rights if you sing too much of the song.
So it'll be like, got me the crazy in love, got me...
Exactly. That's it. Don't go any further. Just say the name of the song and move on.
All the single ladies, all the
and then that's it. Yeah. Don't even do the hand movement
because my body's so
You gotta be like right on the second.
Baby boy, you've been.
That's it. That's all we can afford. That's all we can afford, listeners.
Happy birthday.
No, and we can't even afford that.
Happy birthday to Smurfette. La 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 la. Do you know what that reminds me of? One of my favorite commercials in like the last 10 years. Do you remember? Oh my God, this is so stupid. Do you remember the commercial a few years back of Chips Ahoy that they were celebrating the cookie's birthday?
Yes.
And the cookie had a birthday hat and everything. And the cookie goes, "Where's the cake?"
And everybody
and
looked
the people were like, "There's no cake." Do you remember the cookie's face?
I was like, oh.
Why does that make me laugh so much?
Because you enjoy cookie cannibalism.
That doesn't seem like something that I would be so into.
And that would make you laugh like this.
Where's the cake? There is no cake. Hi, listeners.
And this is how you know we're diverse, because you wouldn't expect it from Darian, but here he is.
Yeah, here I am.
Ay, Dios mío. But no, so I was gonna...
You would expect me to be into some life insurance commercial. You know, that Mutual of Omaha commercial is like really good.
Tugs at the whole heartstrings.
Okay, go with your topic. Your topic.
No. So I was just gonna say, I was at the gym today, and they have the TV screens, and so one of them had Univision on, and da la casualidad que I was there at the gym at the time that that Trump was being, I don't know if he's being indicted. He had said not guilty, whatever. That's not the crux of my story. What proceeded to happen was they had a split screen. Of people at a desk, the Univision anchors at a desk, and literally video of their on-the-ground reporters just in a car racing along with all the other cars and reporters in front of them to the airfield where he was getting up. And literally the only thing, now granted I couldn't hear what was going on because I was at the gym, so I was far away, but the only thing that they were filming was literally just the cars in front of them. Look at all this traffic. Look at all the cars. And all I could think of was...
a motorcade.
Look at the motorcade. Look at the motorcade. Look at all the motorcade. And all I could think of was, okay, there's only so much that the anchors can say, because he literally showed up to give a guilty, not guilty plea and then left, right? So there's not like...
And I believe that... I didn't watch it, but if it's the same as his other indictments, the cameras are not allowed in the courtroom.
Right. But what I mean is, it was just a very, it was a one and done, right? Whatever. They proceeded to just keep the camera on the entire drive. And then when they got there, the reporters, you could see them like literally scrambling out of the car, along with all the other reporters scrambling to his car to get a soundbite or blah blah blah, whatever. And all I could think of was, this is what we've come to, that we do not interrupt when all we literally have is footage of the car and the license plate in front of you.
Yeah.
And that is now a story. Because they very easily could have just been like, you know what? Again, this is also a gentleman who has never shied away from giving a statement. So you know he was going to say something.
Right.
Y'all could have just been like, we're going to come back to you once our reporters are in the airfield and blah, 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 blah. But the fact is, Univision was probably doing it because, Univision was doing it because Telemundo was doing it, and Telemundo was doing it because they're also co-owned by NBC. So NBC was doing it also because ABC was doing it, and ABC was doing it because CBS was doing it. And because CNN, and they didn't want, when CNN is like, well, what if, some online source? So it's just this like snake eating itself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't believe that I'm literally watching footage of a car.
Yeah.
Following a car.
Yeah.
As if though that was the like if it was the OJ car chase.
You are talking to the person who I told you, I've talked about it on the show. I was consuming I think dangerously amount of news. I had CNN on at one point, like all the time. All the time. And I have to say that I really cut back, and now I actually I barely watch the news. I obviously, the indictment is a big deal. I go, once it's done, I go and I read about it,
right?
Maybe for 10 minutes.
Just to get the bullet points.
I'm done.
Right.
I'm done because I feel that following news at this point is such a slippery slope. As far as the indictment of Trump, look,
and for me, it's not even about that. Like, that's not what this conversation was about, really.
Right, but at this point in time, there's no minds that are being changed. Right. There's nobody who's watching this news coverage and being like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong.
Right.
In whatever direction.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong.
Right.
Maybe I'm going to change my mind. So at this point in time, anything having to do with him is very, very tribal. Right. It always has been, and now even more so than ever. So this excessive news coverage is just, in my point, futile. Like it doesn't serve a purpose. People's mind is other than ratings and other than being, a sensational media circus. Obviously, the indictment of a former president is a big deal, and it's something that's newsworthy, and it's something that should be covered. But that's it. That's it.
To the degree of what happens.
Something that I've never understood with the whole Trump of it all is, and I'm trying to talk about this in a very unbiased way.
Well, because we're talking about the news coverage.
What I've never understood about the whole Trump of it all is that people say, well, but he loves the media, and the media built him, and then the media is the one who was like, well, but he's a threat to democracy and he's a threat to the media. Well, I think that the media can decide if they want to cover him as much as they do. And, after he won the election in 2016, so many in the media themselves were like, we are part to blame for this. And we were the ones who set this in motion. He got all this coverage over and over again. Well, you're doing it again.
Right. Nobody stopped.
Like, you're doing it again.
Just because you say you're sorry, you got to show me.
So I've really stayed above the fray in the last couple of years. I watch what I need to watch, and I move on. Like what you're talking about, I didn't see that. I'm not going to see it.
And I saw it because I was at the gym.
I'm not going to see it.
And Univision at that time is playing at Gordo y la Flaca. So it clearly, normally is not that.
Right. So my news consumption, again, I'm not uninformed because you have to be informed this day and age. I still get my news from very good sources. I read my news. I'm in and out in 10, 15 minutes tops, and I'm done. Maybe before I go to bed, I'll check my news. I love something I actually do there's an app on the Fire Stick TV for Sky News.
Okay.
Which is it's like the BBC.
Yeah.
They have an app where they'll give you like the top news stories around the world. And it's kind of interesting to see because it's like they show you what's going around around the world. And I'll do that sometimes at night for maybe a few minutes. And that's it. So I like to think of myself that I'm informed. I know what's going on. But I really, really stopped that kind of news saturation that I had for so long that I was constantly watching the news because you know what? Nothing good is going to come out of that. You already know what's going on, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. And you got to break that cycle.
Absolutely,
you got to break that cycle. And that's not to say that there's still not very good, credible news organizations. And that's not to say that
many journalists on our show,
great journalists, that are great, that I enjoy their work. But that whole thing of just being on and watching the entire time, yeah, I needed to cut that cycle because I was getting bad.
Healthy.
Yeah, and the whole thing. Look, I know it's different because it's a politician and you're talking about the state of our country and democracy and the elections. But the whole thing with Trump is sort of like, to do something that's more recent-ish. It was kind of like, the early 2000s when the paparazzi was obsessed with like Lindsay Lohan and
Paris Hilton and
Britney Spears and all that they would hunt them and chase them.
That is a great analogy.
And even if it was just them doing nothing, just like walking down the street, it was like constant paparazzi. It's something sort of similar. Just with credible sources. Yeah. No matter what he says or does, like the media's like on him.
Yeah.
So... And the media enjoys that. He enjoys that.
Right. That's the thing.
His fans enjoy that. So, it's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
Cycle.
It's symbiotic. It's funny you said, the reading, because I always prefer to read. Even if I go online and it's got like a video, I won't watch the video package. I will read it because I don't want the tone of somebody's voice or the inflection to color my intake of information. Right. I'd rather just read it in my own voice and pull from it what I want.
I read it, and I usually do 2 or 3 sources. Like in the last couple of months, whenever there's been a Supreme Court case, I actually read the case. But then again, I love reading Supreme Court cases,
which is why we were surprised about your love of the Chips Ahoy commercial.
Where's the cake? You know what I miss? I miss the Geico commercials.
With the little gecko?
No, the one with like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
I love those old ladies.
And they never brought that back.
No. Because Geico always has 2 campaigns running in tandem. They've always got like the gecko, and then they'll do some other like.
They used to have. I always feel like somebody's watching me with the money looking at them. Aww. Did you save with Geico?
Apparently not, because I switched
to Progressive.
Who am I with now? I'm with Esurance.
Oh, que técnico. Oh my God. I did a couple of months ago or some time ago, I did the whole thing with Progressive where
the checker,
yes, a tracker. And aside from the fact that I'm like, these people know where I'm at all times, I was like, era una mierda, because you know what? First of all, I got an A- and my insurance did not change at all.
Really?
No, and I had an A-. And the thing is that if you have it on the app, it'll tell you you're braking too hard. Okay. So I was like, no, my score is gonna go down.
Can you imagine the score of our friend?
Of a friend of ours? No, she would get an F and go to remedial and be sent to jail, directly to jail, and she won't collect $200. Progressive would call her and be like, listen, not only are we not insuring you, we're reporting you to like the local authorities.
We've reached out to all the other insurance companies.
Tú eres una fucking
loca. Like, man, you have to pay triple.
Yeah. Like, you know what? So let me ask you something. Like those type of things, like the Progressive tracking app, to see how well you're driving, even stuff on your phone, even when you do 23andMe and like all those DNA and genealogy things. Do you ever stop to freak out about that? Like I've heard of people, or I've talked to people that will not do a 23andMe or like one of those.
My father.
Because he says, I don't want them having my DNA.
My father.
Yeah?
My father says that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget when it first came out. Because the thing is that my father loves to talk about, like, to share, like, stories about family. He's all about, like, family history and things like that, right? So when it first came out, my instinct, because I never know what the hell to get him for his birthday or Christmas, was like, oh, this might be something interesting. And then I stopped myself because I've met my father. And so I was like, no. And then later on I told him, like, I almost got you this, but I didn't, because he's like, yeah, no, because then they have your DNA and I don't know what they're going to do with it and what they're going to use it for. And I'm like, I love you, but you realize you're not that important, right? That they're like just keeping your DNA somewhere in a vault to like use it in a murder case.
Oh yeah, listen, we live in the time of
AI,
fakes, AI. So
this is true. You never know. I've never.
Maybe with your dad's DNA, they'll run a parallel, like life with him.
Oh, that could be interesting.
You don't know. Maybe he was a Rockefeller or
okay. I'd be pissed.
Or an Astor.
I'd be pissed if that was the case, and we have none of the Rockefeller or Astor money. All right, because I could have rocked some Vanderbilt jeans.
Yeah, you would be related to
No, that's not the Rockefellers. That's
the Vanderbilts.
The Vanderbilts is Biltmore.
Yeah, the Biltmore Estate in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You would be Anderson Cooper. So then your best friend would be Andy Cohen. Yeah, a lot of people won't do that for that reason. Yeah. You know what, though? I have to tell you, I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm not into like, oh, they're going to get my information. I've always thought of like, what are you going to get? Like, what are you,
student debt.
What are you going to get? You want my student loans? I mean, you can have them, baby. You can have them. In fact, I will give you my username and password. Like, you know, I've always been that type. I'm like, what are you going to get? What do you got?
That's my thing. Is like I don't have anything.
I mean, look. I even my pictures, like I manually back them up. Like I put them on a hard drive on top of my like 9 cloud services that I have. So even that, I'm like, hey, wipe out my pictures. I have them on a hard drive. Like you know, and what are you gonna do with my pictures? Like really? Oh, look, me eating like chicken carbonara at the Cheesecake Factory. Like wow, enjoy.
You know what? Your family.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think also that nowadays, for better or for worse, that people are becoming more open online insofar as like sharing nude pictures or compromising pictures, whatever you want to call it. I think that the only good thing I see to that is that that's sort of losing its power insofar as using it against someone.
The taboo is diminishing.
It's like, yeah, you see naked pictures of me. Also, like, there's naked pictures of half the population out there.
I mean, yeah, right. Actually, you're the weirdo who's not.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you know.
How dare you be clothed?
Yeah. I mean, unless you're doing something really like taboo or
yes, but that's beyond just a nude.
Yeah, that's another story. But you know, it's like, oh wow, they caught you. You know, they got a dick pic of you. Oh well.
I hope the lighting is good.
The angles.
Yeah,
it's all about the
angles.
So I think that that's losing its power because now people are so open about that it's like whatever. Yeah. You know, send me to the credit bureau.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, what are you gonna do? Listen, the only thing I can totally disprove, like I've said before on here, is if somebody ever, you know, accuses me of money laundering.
Oh, because you're not sure how to do it?
I don't know how that works. You can show up and be like, I'm accusing you of murder. I'll be like, maybe I did. You know, vehicular manslaughter. Oh, no, I didn't stop. Like, but if you come to my door and you're like, no, you've been charged with money laundering, I'll be like, you clearly have the wrong person.
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do that. And if I did, I guarantee you it was purely by accident. Purely by accident. Like, I just must have checked the wrong box or something.
Clearly.
Because
you didn't have an intent to launder money.
Oh. I don't even do my own laundry.
Laundering money is fraud, and fraud must be pled with particularity. So you would need to have demonstrable evidence and facts that show that you intended to defraud. You were an intent.
I'm not even sure what you just said, much less how to money launder.
I remember some years ago. Somebody I know worked at a place where like the head of that was caught in one of like the largest money laundering operations ever, and they were like, oh, but he was so nice. And I'm like, well, nice people launder money.
Exactly, like,
Jeffrey Dahmer's not in there, you know.
Yeah. Ted Bundy was nice to his victims before he killed them.
Like, this person like left the country. Like, they went to a country where they weren't going to be extradited. Yeah, it was like that big.
That level.
That level, yeah.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Yeah. You know, yo para eso soy bien pendejo.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Even if I knew how to do it, like, I'm not gonna get caught. I don't want to get caught.
Like anything with the feds,
No. Number one, no. I won't do well in jail.
No. But that's why, like, when I see all like the people here in like Miami doing Medicare fraud, I'm like, people, like, aside from the fact that it's illegal, like,
this isn't a fine.
Okay, this is the Fed,
right?
Like, this is no joke.
They're not gonna fine you $500,
right? And especially those type of investigations, like they let you go on. They really do.
They let you hang yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They're not going to come at you because for $1,000. No. They give you the shovel
exactly,
and they go dig,
and here's a rope to hang around your neck while you do so. Just
dig,
go.
Baby, dig.
Just go and drill, baby, drill.
And then before you know it, People with FBI sweatshirts are knocking on your door. They're banging on your door. And I like see or hear people. Well, not that I hear people because I'm not. People aren't coming to be like, "Tu sabes que fulano."
No. But in the news. But
in the news. But then I also see some suspicious activity from certain
that you're like
that I'm like. Oh, I hope you people are not doing what I think you're doing because it's not going to end well. And it never ends well. Because you know what happens with all these people that commit fraud?
They go too big.
They do. Because what happens? They get away with it once. And they're like, okay, we just made some quick money. Let's do it again. And
but now it's got to be twice as big.
And they do it again.
And 3 times as big.
Again.
And 4 times as big.
Do it again. Right. Gotta get myself connected.
They're not going to sue us. Sing the whole song.
Anyway, they keep doing it. And yeah, it's then they get caught and things don't go well. Yo eso tengo horror.
No, I'm right with you.
Horror. So,
I'm with you.
Oye, something I wanted to mention because I know we started the show with a loss, but another loss I wanted to talk about was Pee Wee Herman.
Oh yes, that's right. I knew it happened, but I forgot that it was this week.
I have to tell you that I can't say that I followed Pee Wee Herman in my later years, but Pee Wee's Playhouse was such a big part of our childhood. And I feel everybody was in it.
Oh, yeah. To this day, every Christmas, I watch the Pee Wee Christmas special. That special is phenomenal.
The king of cartoons.
Mira. In that special, you have Frankie and Annette, you have Charo, you have Grace Jones, you have Joan Rivers, Whoopi Goldberg.
And that's when Grace Jones comes in the box.
And she sings Little Drummer Boy. And do you know where the box was originally going?
Where?
To the White House.
Ronald Reagan was going to get that box? Because that's who it would have been for, right?
Reagan or Bush the first?
No, that would have been Reagan.
It had to be one of the two. It's not Clinton.
Yeah. No, yeah. It would have been a Republican for sure.
Right.
Oh, no. Nancy would have been like, get that woman out of our house, Ronald.
Maybe she would have liked her ensemble.
No. Actually, you know what? Nancy lived on the edge.
Well, they were Hollywood folk.
Right. Maybe Nancy would be like, oh, Grace.
I love that gold breastplate you're wearing.
Yes. But Pee Wee's Playhouse was such a big deal. I remember Penny.
Oh, the Penny cartoon.
Yeah. And Lawrence Fishburne was
Cowboy Curtis.
Yes. I loved the Cherry, the chair.
Yeah.
And I loved the genie.
Jambi.
Yes.
Jambi.
Yes. Yep. But I loved it. I mean, everybody did.
It was just such a crazy ass show, but yet it was a contained chaos for half an hour.
Come in and pull up a chair. It's Cherry.
The funny thing with him,
get wacky.
He was 70.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
He's one of those people though that because of the character of Pee Wee,
he didn't age.
I never thought of him as older.
He's like RuPaul.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like RuPaul, Elvira, Pee Wee. Like these are ageless characters.
RuPaul the man ages. RuPaul the drag queen
does
doesn't.
not. No. 70 years old.
Yeah.
Like, and yet I was like, oh, but he was 70? It just did a total mind fuck on me because I was like, oh yeah, he was a human being. He wasn't perpetually like, 20 or whatever the age Pee Wee was supposed to be.
How old was Pee Wee Herman?
So I think Pee Wee Herman was supposed to be a kid or young adult.
Right.
So I'm thinking maybe 19 at most. I don't know. I don't know what the character was supposed to be age range wise. I do think it's great that he was really good friends with Elvira.
It makes sense.
Well, they both came up in the Groundlings.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I remember when they sort of changed the set to Pee Wee's Playhouse. Remember the clock that was the United States?
Uh-huh.
I remember the first season that was in there.
What was it?
Like a little shelf.
I don't remember that.
¿Cómo se llamaba the B-52 looking lady?
Miss Yvonne. Miss Yvonne. Actually, I heard an interview with her a couple of years ago on a podcast.
The B-52 looking lady. The B-52 should have just lived inside Pee Wee's Playhouse.
I think they may have. I think they may have been that little puppet band.
Oh, yeah. Roll if you want to.
You know what? Maybe the Love Shack is next to Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
or it's on the way to Pee Wee's Playhouse.
It's definitely in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
The Love Shack.
And it's around the same time.
It is, yeah, because I think that album came out in like 88, 89.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tin Roof. rusted. I didn't know that's what they said until.
And who's in that video?
RuPaul.
To bring it full circle.
¿Cómo se llama Miss Yvonne?
Miss Yvonne.
Okay. Miss Yvonne.
I don't know her real name.
Yeah, Miss Yvonne, I'm sure, would probably, I don't know, be a judge
on Drag Race?
Yeah, probably.
Miss Yvonne would. I don't think the actress would.
Right.
Miss
okay. Yvonne.
Yes. Okay.
I didn't say, Rachel, Williams as Miss Yvonne.
I could totally see that being her name, by the way.
Rachel Williams.
She seems like somebody who's a Rachel Williams when she takes off the bouffant.
Yeah. But yeah, that show is crazy. I think that was sort of the point. What was that thing that talked that was made out of wood?
The floor?
The floor, yes. What was the name of the floor? Flory?
I'm going to go with yes, because I feel like a lot of things in Pee-wee's Playhouse were just named whatever they are with a Y at the end.
Yeah. That door, you could tell that the door was probably that door has something to do with the Max. I think that maybe when they were trying like different concepts with the Max.
Uh-huh.
On Saved by the Bell.
So wait, are we saying that?
Well, then they're building the sets. That they were like, okay, let's see what works, what doesn't work. I don't know which one came first. If they were designing Pee-wee first, the Playhouse, and then the Max, or vice versa.
That probably, yeah, because Pee-wee was a stage show, so maybe they had the design from the stage show before.
Right. So, but yeah, that's there's a Max connection there.
So what you're saying is that sometimes Pee-wee would go down the street to the Love Shack and pick up the B-52s and go eat at the Max?
Absolutely.
Okay. Got it.
Right, but Pee-wee probably didn't go for Bayside. He went for Valley.
He did go for Valley. And I could see him having fish sticks.
¿Tú te acuerdas en Saved by the Bell cuando le metieron ants al León de Valley?
That's because he was pretending he was Screech.
Do you remember the cheer from them?
From Valley?
From Bayside.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Listeners,
B,
go Bayside. I mean, there's not a lot to it.
And then I think the one from Valley was like, yeah, we're Valley, like, for sure.
This summer, NBC is saying no to dope.
Oh, Brandon Tartikoff.
Yeah. Listeners, how many of you watched Saved by the Bell?
Why did we know Brandon Tartikoff?
On Saved by the Bell?
No, as like I knew who Brandon Tartikoff was. Like, I don't know who's in charge of the average person doesn't know who's in charge of a network.
You know what I love? I mean, it's one of these things that, like, now that we're grown-ups and looking back on it, not only us, everybody who watched Saved by the Bell or grew up on Saved by the Bell, I just love how the Tori episodes, like, it's like, let's pretend they didn't happen.
That's fair. But I also think that, like, when we go out, if so-and-so isn't there, I don't automatically just be like, why isn't so-and-so here?
Right,
Where's
but in the Tori universe, a Kelly and Jesse did not exist.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? So it's not like they were like, oh, Jesse is
that her part-time job?
Yes.
Right.
Or Kelly's at cheerleading camp.
Right.
Right? They didn't exist. Right? And then also, Zach's love story with Tori was not in continuation with, like,
what was happening that final season with
Kelly.
Right.
Then there's that.
Right. There's that. I mean, continuity was not the strong point of sitcoms in the 80s to begin with, because I'm pretty sure that at several times the children of the Golden Girls changed from the number of them to the ages.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the names.
For sure. Well, look at, I mean, you don't have to go too far. Look at the Cosby Show. I mean, that's like a well-written,
right? That had continuity,
critically acclaimed show. Yeah. In the first season, they only had 4 kids.
That's true.
Sandra did not exist.
She didn't exist.
But in the second season, they did. And you know what I think is so interesting about the addition of Sandra? I mean, I'm all up for it. I loved Sandra's character.
Sandra, yeah.
And then, that brought Jeffrey and all that. Was that when they were, like, retooling the show for the second season, they're like, you know what we need? Another daughter.
Like, right. Let's just bring another character in here.
Right. Like,
right. That an older.
An older, yeah.
Like, let's not have Claire get pregnant. No. Right.
It's August, and while summer may be ending, back to school is just around the corner. That means it's time to start packing lunches again with healthy options like dairy. Whether yogurt, cheese sticks, or grilled cheese, there's many ways to include dairy for those back-to-school lunches and ensure that kids get protein, vitamin D, and calcium. And that's in addition to breakfast with some milk, either by the glass or in a bowl of cereal. For more ways to include dairy as part of your back-to-school routine, visit floridamilk.com or lechedeflorida.com and get more info as well as recipes. Trust me, including dairy in their lunches is way easier than trying to remember how to solve word problems. Anyway, bueno, it's soda time.
It is soda
the time is here. You know what I want to say? Every time I say that, you know what I want to say?
What?
It's Friday night.
And the mood is right.
We're going to have some fun, show you how it's done. TGIF.
Bow, bow.
Remember, era un ratoncito hitting the clock. Anyway, so my last soda this week is to somebody I never thought I was going to give a last soda, and that is to Taylor Swift.
Tay-Tay.
So the reason why I'm giving Taylor Swift a last soda is because, as we know, she's gone on this huge, massive world tour, the Eras Tour, and it's ending its American leg now this week.
She's coming to Miami, though.
But that has to be in another leg because she's going to South America or Europe or somewhere soon. So maybe, I don't know, she had another leg.
Probably.
But she is ending the leg of the tour now. I think she's doing like 5 or 6 shows in LA. And she gave the truck drivers in her tour each a bonus of $100,000.
Damn.
$100,000.
That's life-changing money.
That's exactly what they said. They were like, this is now $5,000, $10,000. This is life-changing money. This is money for a down payment of a house. This is money to send my kids off to college. This is money to build something. This is life-changing money. And you know what? I think it's really important to acknowledge when people that have money and celebrities do that, because so many times we talk crap about celebrities. Oh, they're rich, and oh, they don't do anything. Oh, they're greedy, and oh, they don't help out people, and blah blah blah. Well, I mean, this is her money that she's giving them, and it's like 50 of them. So that's
so it's not like 2.
It's a considerable amount of money, and she's making millions and millions.
But she didn't
from
have
this
to.
album, from this tour, but she didn't have to do that.
Right.
And the fact that she did that is great. I mean, I think it's very telling because, I mean, every time I go to a show, I'm sure a lot of people think that. I look at this stage and I'm thinking, like, shit, they gotta put this down and put it in a truck and drive off to the next city. And, you know, the singer, even the band, the singer's handlers, they just swift away in buses.
They just
and go to the hotel, go to after parties. But these people are putting the stage down, and it's like the minute the show ends, like they come out and start dismantling the stage.
They really never stop working.
Right. So, I mean, that's how that is hard work. So, you know, I give her a lot of credit for not only acknowledging them, but, you know, putting literally her money where her mouth is and helping these people out. And I think that that's great. So a last soda to you, Taylor Swift.
Well, that's an awesome one. That's an awesome one. Yeah. Again, like we said, a lot of times we're like, oh, celebrities, they're so out of touch, and
it's her, and I don't think the problem is her this time.
The problem is not her this time. No.
She is not the anti-hero in that.
No. There was no bad blood.
No, there was no bad blood, and she's going to get good karma.
She is. She is. I mean, look what you made her do.
I don't know that many Taylor Swift songs.
I think I've tapped out.
Yeah. So, okay. Anyway.
So my last soda is actually kind of a little sad. Last soda. I hate to end on a somber note, but I kind of wanted to. So my last soda is going to someone whose name you probably are not familiar with, and that's okay because I'm gonna, share their story. This person's name was O'Shae Sibley. I don't know if you heard this story. So this is a black man from Brooklyn who was recently stabbed for basically voguing at a gas station in Brooklyn last Saturday night. Again, he's voguing to a Beyonce song. I think it was Renaissance. And just this group of gay bashers just felt the need, like how, they were so offended by his voguing that his life had to end. And the reason I want to give him a last soda, even if it's posthumously, is because, again, my birthday's coming up. And so, you start to like reassess life and everything. And here's somebody who was not afraid to be who they were and, display that and dance, the old saying, dance like nobody's watching, dance and be joyous and just enjoy their time on this earth. And I think that's something that, especially nowadays, so many people want you to either conform to what they think your joy should be, or, they get joy out of watching you be unhappy because they don't want you to express who you are. And all I can say is, although the outcome was horrible and this man lost his life, I think that we should all strive to be like O'Shea in the sense of, if you feel like dancing, dance. If you feel like singing, sing. If you feel like, I don't know, doing a cartwheel, do a cartwheel. Because tomorrow is not promised, and you should never have to tamp down who you are out of fear of what somebody else is going to think of you. And so, O'Shea, wherever you are, I hope you're just, voguing the house down boots, and looking down and we do you proud. So.
Yeah, that I read about that, and it's just one of those awful things. I mean, those people were beyond gay bashers; they were murderers. Like,
well, yes, ultimately,
right? Because that's not even a thing of like, oh, I don't like this person, I don't like person.
No, beat you
tiene
up,
que ser un asesino, to do that. Especially in a situation que no se estaban metiendo contigo.
Right.
Because that's a situation that they saw somebody, they didn't like what they were doing, and they needed to, But unfortunately, going back to the news thing that we were talking a little bit earlier, that I think that's all connected, because people now, whether it's the news thing, the constant news cycle, or social media, people now feel the need to impose things on you and tell you how much they disagree with you and how much whatever it is. And
but you can disagree with me all you want. You cannot kill me.
Right, but I think
in this case it was a black gay man voguing, right? But who's to say that it couldn't happen? Some random person in backwoods South, I don't know, dancing salsa.
But I think that's all connected, because I think it's all connected, because it's all how people right now are just becoming, because we have so many platforms now to be able to spew hate and intolerance and all that. People feel now like it's their right to go up to you and be like, F you,
Stop being yourself.
Right. And that may end up in however it may end up with shouting match, screaming, fighting, violence, or even killing someone. Right. I mean, that's a longer conversation for another day. Yeah. But it's the times that we live in. I mean, there's things that happen now, particularly whether it's hate crimes or things like that, I mean, you kind of walk back and you think, this is happening in 2023?
Right.
I mean, I thought we were past this.
Yeah, I thought we were somewhere else. Yeah.
Right? And that's not to say that those things never stopped happening, but to this degree that like now it happened, like it's now not one random incident that happened somewhere and it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. But it's not something that usually happens.
Right.
But now...
But I also will say, I mean, I don't know if it's a matter of it always happened with this frequency, but now we're seeing it publicized more because of the social media, because we're 24 hours
I think it's both. I think it's both. I think obviously there are more platforms for things to be published.
Right.
So that's certainly a factor. Just like we always say, well, do certain things happen more, but now everybody has a phone, so it could be documented. So I'm sure there's that, but there is a higher index of hate crimes across the board.
Yeah.
Whether it's homophobic, racist, xenophobic.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Pickophobic.
That it is happening, and again, not that there was ever a time where none of that didn't happen, but for a while there, you really thought that things were trending down.
Correct.
And now they're trending up. And that's very scary. That's very scary for a lot of reasons. Okay, I feel we need to end in a higher
we do. We need to end on something happy. And I don't know what to end on.
I don't know. I think we should talk about the Cosby Show again. About Vanessa's great escape to Baltimore.
Oh,
Baltimore. Okay, listeners, really, really seriously. Those of you out there who are listening to us, have you seen on if you didn't see it when it aired in the 80s or 90s, The Cosby Show, you need to air it now. Look up on YouTube Vanessa, Cosby Show. Vanessa, Baltimore. That's all you need to look up. That's it. The scene between
sit back and enjoy
her and Claire in Baltimore, Maryland. It is like amazing.
It is.
And to give us credit, we have been talking about that scene for decades at this point. That it was like the best scene of the Cosby Show.
Forever.
And it sort of went viral. So, recently. But anyway, everybody, we hope you had a great weekend.
Yes.
Remember, how do I end the show? Remember to listen, laugh, and learn.
Yes.
We hope you listen, laugh, and learn. Why did I forget this after 262 episodes? We hope you listen, laugh, and learn. And as always, remember to grab your, I should say, pan de bono.
Yes.
Your pan de bono, your croqueta, your pastelito. Oh, man, that's a really
great
good
trinity.
combo.
Oh, okay. Now we're hungry.
Okay. And... and your cafecito, and thank you for so much for joining us this week. Have a great weekend, everybody, and happy birthday ish.
Thank you. Cuídense, mi gente. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.